Hi, friends. Welcome back to Elisha Space, the podcast where we create a sanctuary for healing, growth, and authentic conversations. I'm your host, Elisha, and I'm so glad you're joining me today. If that resonates with you, I want you to sit back, take a deep breath, and know that you're not alone. Today, we're talking about the downside of perfectionism, how it impacts our mental health, our faith, and ultimately, how to start letting go of impossible standards so we can live with more peace and purpose. God didn't call us to be perfect. He called us to be faithful. So grab your coffee or tea, get comfy, and let's have this heart-to-heart. Let's start with this. What is perfectionism? Because sometimes perfectionism can sneak into our lives disguised as high standards or discipline. Simply put, perfectionism is the need to appear perfect or avoid failure at all costs. Perfectionism comes with a very steep price. It comes at the cost of your peace, the cost of your authenticity, and often the cost of your relationship with God and others. Perfectionism leaves no room for grace. Perfection, whether it's in our careers, our relationships, or even in our spiritual lives, we're likely running ourselves into exhaustion, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Have you ever felt that? That deep sense of, I'm never enough? God never asked us to be perfect. He asked us to rely on His strength, not our own. But I get it. Letting go is not easy. So let's talk about how perfectionism impacts our mental health and what we can do to break free. Perfectionism isn't just a mindset issue. It's a mental and emotional health issue. Research shows that perfectionism is often linked to anxiety, depression, procrastination, and burnout. When we set impossibly high standards for ourselves, failing to meet them can make us feel like failures. I've personally experienced this, especially when I've tried to live up to unrealistic expectations of what I thought I should be in my work, as a friend, and sometimes even in my faith journey. Perfectionism whispers in those moments, "You're not enough." It's a lie that keeps us striving, but never arriving. But here's what I want you to know today. You are already enough because God declared you enough. Ephesians 2:10 reminds us that we are God's handiwork, created for good works that He prepared in advance. That doesn't mean perfect works. It means He's guiding and working through us, flaws and all. So the big question is, how do we stop striving for impossible standards? Letting go of perfectionism isn't easy, but it starts with 3 truths I want to hold on to today. 1, focus on faithfulness, not flawlessness. Jesus didn't ask us to live perfectly. He asked us to live faithfully. That means showing up with what you have, even when it feels messy. When I started reframing my mindset from, I need to get it right, to, I need to be faithful, I felt an enormous weight lift. Faithfulness means I'm leaning on God's power, not my own. Embrace progress over perfection. Life isn't about leaping from one perfect moment to the next. It's about stepping into progress. Celebrate the small wins. Some days it might mean just getting out of bed, and other days it might mean taking a bold step towards your goals. In Philippians 1:6, Paul says, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." God doesn't expect us to be finished projects or products right now. He's working in the midst of the process. And then number 3, show yourself grace. You can't pour from an empty cup. And you don't need to be so hard on yourself. Remember that we serve a God full of grace, whose power is made perfect in our weakness. When you stumble, and you will stumble, remind yourself that your mistakes don't define you. His love does. My friend, breaking free from perfectionism isn't a one-time thing. It's a lifelong journey of surrendering control, renewing your mind, and reminding yourself of God's truth. It's learning to say, I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be His. Each day, you have a choice. You can choose to measure your worth by impossible standards, or you can measure it by the never-ending love of God. I don't know about you, but I'd much rather live loved than live perfect. I pray that today's message encourages you to release whatever unrealistic expectations you might be holding on to. God's grace is bigger than our mistakes, and His joy is waiting for us on the other side of striving. If this episode spoke to your hearts, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments or join the conversation on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to Elisha Space for more soul-refreshing conversations on faith, healing, and growth. Until next time, go in grace and peace. You've got this, and more importantly, God's got you. Goodbye, friends.